Hey students, welcome to the second installment of Solving Equations, where we're going to be looking at multi-stepped questions. So to get started, put on your headphones and let's zone in. With multi-step solving equation questions, there are a few different question types. The first being equivalent equations, the second being equations with fractions, the third being equations with pronumerals on both sides of the equal sign, and the final one is equations with brackets. And we're going to be doing a walkthrough of all these four types. Let's first start with equivalent equations. For example, let's say we have 5 plus 9x is equal to 32. The primary goal for these questions is to isolate this x. To do that, I need to move this multiplied by 9 and plus 5 over to the other side. Now we need to ask, which one am I going to do first? Would I move this plus 5 first, or would I move this multiplied by 9 first? If I was to move this multiplied by 9, I would have to divide both of these by 9 in order to divide the other side by 9. So that would be a little bit too tedious. So instead, let's move this plus 5 first so we can isolate the 9x, and then we will solve that later. So moving the plus 5 to do the opposite, that's the only way we can move it over the equal sign. So we do minus 5 on both sides. In that way, this plus 5 and minus 5 cancel. We get 9x is equal to 32 minus 5. That means 9x will equal 27. Now from here, we can see it's a whole lot more simpler to move this 9 over to the other side. We know this is 9 multiplied by x, so in order to move this 9 multiplied by x over to the other side, we divide both sides by 9. That way, the 9 and the 9 will cancel, leaving us with x is equal to 27 over 9, which just simplifies to 3. And that would be our answer. Now let's have a look at the second question type, and that's equations with fractions. For example, let's say we have 4y plus 15 all over 9 is equal to 3. Now the primary goal for this, again, is to isolate our variable, which in this case is y. But whenever we're dealing with fractions, the goal is to remove the fraction as soon as possible. In this case, how do we remove this fraction? Well, we need to move this divide by 9 somehow to the other side. To move this divide by 9 to the other side, we multiply by 9 on both sides. In that way, this divide by 9 and multiplied by 9 will cancel, leaving us with 4y plus 15 is equal to 3 times 9, which is 27. From here, we then need to make sure that, again, the goal is to isolate this y. What is the easiest thing we can move straight away? We can't really move this 4 because this is 4 multiplied by y. And in order to move this 4, I'll need to divide everything by 4 on this left-hand side, making it a little bit more trickier to work with. So instead, let's move this plus 15 over the other side. To do that, we need to minus 15 by both sides. Like so. That way, the plus 15 and minus 15 will cancel, leaving us with 4y is equal to 27 minus 15. From here, we can simplify this to 4y is equal to 8. Now from here, we're at the final step. We need to move this 4 to the other side. This is 4 multiplied by y. So how do we move a multiplied by 4 over to the other side? We do the opposite. A multiplied by 4 means we need to divide by 4 on both sides. That way, this 4 and this 4 will cancel, leaving us with just y is equal to 8 over 4, which simplifies to 2. And that is our answer. let's have a look now at the third question type, and that is when we have equations with pronumerals on either side of the equal sign. So let's take, for example, 6x plus 4 is equal to 22 minus 3x. Now again, the goal is to isolate our variable, which is x, but we can see we have the variable on both sides, here and here. So in order to isolate this x, we need to move them both to the same side. And the best technique to do this is to ensure that whenever you're moving something with a variable over the equal sign, make sure in the end that the variable is positive. That will just help you down the line in solving your questions much more easily. So let's move this minus 3x over to the other side, because I know if I do plus 3x on both sides, it will give me a positive variable on this left-hand side over here. So let's go ahead and do that. So moving this minus 3x means I need to plus 3x on both sides, like so. That way, this minus 3x and this plus 3x will cancel, leaving us with 6x plus 3x on the left-hand side, so giving us 9x plus 4 is equal to 22. Now from this step, it looks a lot like our equivalent equations, where we have a few numbers and we have our variable over here, and we just need to move all our other numbers to the right-hand side. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to first move our plus 4, because this is the easiest thing to do. So let's move this plus 4 to the other side. In order to do this, we need to do the opposite of plus 4 to both sides. So that means we minus 4, like so. That way, the plus 4 and the minus 4 will cancel, leaving us with 9x is equal to 22 minus 4, and 22 minus 4 is 18. Now from here, we're at the final step. We need to move this multiplied by 9 to the other side. To do that, we do the opposite of multiplied by 9, which is divide by 9, and we do it to both sides. That way, the multiplied by 9 and divide by 9 cancel, leaving us with just x is equal to 18 over 9, which is just equal to 2. Let's have a look at the final question type, and that is equations with brackets. Let's say we have 3 bracket x plus 4 is equal to 18. Now, whenever we get brackets like this, our first step is to expand these brackets. So let's go ahead and expand it first. 3 times x gives us 3x. 3 times plus 4 gives us plus 12, and that will equal to 18. And we can see here, this looks very familiar to our first question type that we encountered. So let's have a go at doing the same steps again. We're first going to move this plus 12 to the other side because it's a lot easier to deal with. In order to move it over, we need to do the opposite of plus 12 to both sides, and that is minus 12, like so. That way, this plus 12 and minus 12 can cancel, leaving us with 3x is equal to 18 minus 12. So that means 3x will equal to 6. And from here, we need to move this multiplied by 3 over to the other side. To move this multiplied by 3 over the other side, we divide both sides by 3. So doing the opposite. That way, the multiplied by 3 and divide by 3 cancel, leaving us with x is equal to 6 over 3, which is just equal to 2. Now that we've done a walkthrough of the different question types for solving equations, have a go at doing some on your own. See you on the other side. Alright, hopefully you had an attempt at some of those questions. Let's go through these and unpack these together. So let's start with question number 1 here in the top left. 10b plus 7 is equal to 12. So our goal here is to isolate the variable, which is b. To do that, I need to move these numbers 10 and 7 over to the other side. Now, this is multiplied by 10 and this is plus 7. The easiest thing I can move is this plus 7 because that's much easier to detach from this 10b straight away. So I'm going to do that first. Let's move this plus 7. To do that, I need to minus 7 on both sides. That way I get this plus 7 and minus 7 to cancel out, leaving me with 10b is equal to 12 minus 7, which is equal to 5. And then we do our final step. This multiplied by 10 has to move to the other side. To move something over the equal sign, we do the opposite. So the opposite of multiplied by 10 is to divide both sides by 10, like so. That way, I can cancel both of these 10s, leaving me with just b is equal to 5 over 10, which is just a half. And that would be my answer. Let's have a look at the next question down over here. So x minus 3 all over 5 is equal to minus 1. So again, the goal is to isolate this x, but this is a fraction. And the trick with fractions is we have to get rid of the fraction as soon as possible. So I need to move this divide by 5 very quickly over to the other side. The opposite of divide by 5 is to multiply both sides by 5, like that. That way, this multiply by 5 and divide by 5 will cancel, leaving me with just x minus 3 is equal to minus 1 times 5, which is just minus 5. Now from here, all I need to do, again, is move this minus 3 to the other side. Now because this is minus 3 and I'm doing the opposite to move it over, I got to plus both sides by 3. That way, the minus 3 and plus 3 cancel, leaving me with x is equal to minus 5 plus 3, and minus 5 plus 3 will give me an answer of minus 2. And that will be my answer. Let's now have a look at the third question, which is up here in the top right. So we have 5x plus 8 is equal to 6x minus 1. In this question, we can see we have our pronumerals on both sides of the equal sign. So the goal here is to move them first to the same side. Now, we want to move it so that our pronumeral remains positive. If I was to move this 6x over, I would have to minus both sides by 6x, leaving me with a negative on the left-hand side. So instead, I'm going to move this 5x over to the other side. And that way, I would minus both sides by 5x, like so, allowing me to cancel this plus 5x and minus 5x, leaving me with just 8 is equal to 6x minus 5x, which is just 1x, and 1x can just be written as x, and then we have our minus 1, which comes from here. Now, all I need to do is move the remaining numbers that are associated with this variable. With this variable, we have a minus 1 attached to it. So I have to move this minus 1 over the equal sign. In order to move this minus 1 over the equal sign, I do the opposite of minus 1, which is plus 1. And I do that to both sides. That way, in the end, I get x is equal to 8 plus 1, which is 9. And that is my answer for the third question. Let's now have a look at the final question. This one's a little bit of an advanced question because we have pronumerals on both sides and we have bracket expansion. So let's go through this together. So whenever we see brackets, the goal is we first need to expand them when we're solving these equations. So let's expand both the brackets on either side. Starting with the first one here on the left-hand side, we get 4 times 3a, which gives us 12a, and 4 times minus 2, which gives us minus 8. That's on the left-hand side. on the right hand side, we get 4 times 2a, which gives us 8a, and 4 times plus 3, which gives us plus 12. And that is the right hand side. Now that we've expanded the brackets, we've got rid of them, we can see we have pronumerals on either side. So 12a and 8a. So the goal here is to now move them both to the same side and ensure that when we move them, they are positive. So in that case, I'm going to be moving this 8a over to the other side because I will need to minus both sides by 8a, leaving me with a positive pronumeral here on the left-hand side. When I do this 8a and minus 8a cancel, giving me 12a minus 8a, which is 4a. We have this minus 8 attached over here, and on the other side we have this plus 12 remaining. Now from this step, we've broken this down into one single pronumeral here on the left hand side, so let's now move all the other numbers to the other side. So first I'm going to move this minus 8 because that's going to be much easier to work with. So moving this over, I need to plus both sides by 8 because that's the opposite. So plus by 8, plus by 8. That allows me to cancel this minus 8 and this plus 8, leaving me with 4a is equal to 12 plus 8, which is just 20. And from here, we're at the final step. We need to move this multiplied by 4 over the equal sign. To move it over the equal sign, we do the opposite, which is divide by 4, and we do it to both sides. That allows us to cancel this multiply by 4 and divide by 4. In the end, leaving us with a is equal to 20 over 4, which can be simplified to 5. And that is our final answer. Hope you all found this video helpful, and if you did, leave us a wave in the comments down below. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Stay sharp.